Hey everybody, it's Mike again, coming back at you with another video. For all the new and returning subscribers and or viewers, welcome and welcome back. Humble and happy to have you all here. Today's topic is going to be about 5 red flags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red flags to avoid from a narcissist. Now, I just want to preface this video real quick by saying that this list is never ending and ever growing. But I just picked out the 5 things that resonated with me the most. So if you find this video to be resonating with you, you can relate, or if you find it helpful, informative, please like, comment, and subscribe. Greatly appreciate you all. Thanks. And so let's get into it. Now, trait number 1 to avoid, or red flag to not seek from anyone, let alone a narcissist, their constant need for attention, their constant need for approval, their constant need for validation. Not just from you either. You were just one in a million on their ever-growing lists of sources of supply or fuel, that they monkey branch to and from before, during, and after said toxic relationship. You were walking on eggshells. You were always giving them, approval, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically, financially, helping them out. Look, they always want to, portray themselves as if they're the victims, the victim card. There's a difference between being a survivor and a perpetual victim. I've done a video about that, but the narcissist is always the perpetual victim, hence why they need to seek attention, whether it be from you, whether it be from other sources of supply. They got plenty of sources of supply to validate their stupid selves, but their phone is a source of supply, and it also helps them go on these social media and dating apps, which are just toxic, and that's a narcissist playground, as I say. Every like, every comment, everything that they get, every follower on TikTok or on IG, whatever they use, is a dopamine hit to them. And there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong with just using social media for all intents and purposes. Whatever, do what you gotta do. I can't say or have any matter in what you do with your life, but I can only suggest that you tread cautiously whenever you're going about online. Now, they're going to be seeking a validation from high school friends or friends from the past, or that guy from work or that gal from work, or they're always going to be, wanting the attention, the spotlight on themselves. Now, let's get into the second point that I have, the second red flag in order to avoid: a lack of empathy. Now, I've explained time and time again that the narcissists, they can't ever feel empathy. They've never known empathy, and they certainly never know how to love. They don't know how to care. They don't know how to be authentic, is what I'm trying to say. You think you could fill in the blanks here, but the point is, you were only facing the love bomb stage at that time, the stage number 1, the euphoric stage, when everything was all chocolates and strawberries and peaches and cream. That's what you were yearning afterwards during the devaluation stage, and the narcissist try to pull back, maybe withhold intimacy, maybe withhold affection, maybe withhold their support in general, even though you continue to support them. It was a non-reciprocal relationship, and it's incumbent on you to not put yourself in such a precarious situation ever again, to be, how shall I say, to be walked all over, right? And you want, empathy. You want to be empathetic towards others. This is who you are as a person, hopefully. You're empathetic, you're loving, you're caring. This is what you fell for within the narcissist in the beginning, when they try to be all loving and future fake you. Oh, let's go do this, or come here, let's live with each other, blah, 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 blah. And the whole works, the whole shebang. Think about it. If you hadn't gone, let's say you didn't marry the narcissist. Well, what if you did? That would have, a lot of people have dodged bullets around that one for sure. And thank God for that. Because someone who is only just going to love bomb you in the beginning, but then once that ring is slipped on the finger and they turn into a completely different person, or maybe even during the engagement, you show signs that they're withholding, having second thoughts maybe, who knows, and they're not being truthful or transparent with you. They can't be empathetic, they can't be truthful and transparent. They have a lack of human basic emotions, right? We all have emotional needs. We all need some validation within our lives, but the narcissist just wants to trample upon our hearts and toss it out the window to no return, and then have another car, veer right over it. That's what they think of us. So they have a need for attention and their validation, and they also have no accountability or empathy or anything whatsoever. They can't love you or anybody else. So red flag number 3 to avoid. When you, by the way, before I go on to trait number 3, with the whole empathy thing, if you can't get a straight answer out of these people as to why they're, why have they changed, what's going on, they'll tell you that nothing's going on, or maybe they'll overtly show you just what they really think of you, and that's your cue during the devaluation stage to walk out. Because what's a relationship without any love or empathy? That's your cue to leave. Now let's get on with the next one. They got a sense of grandiosity and self-importance. They think that they're all that, when in fact they're not. Nobody is perfect in this life, but they just want to pretend that their lives are all just, again, sunshine and daisies and all that. But they take it to a whole new level, man. Online, in person, to you, especially when they were giving counter arguments or false explanations as to why they were doing the way they were doing, treating you the way they did, not giving you love, reciprocation, empathy, all the things that I talked about before. It's all about, the mirror's got to be on them, the cameras have got to be on them at all times, and they can't ever consider anyone else's importance. Like, they wouldn't lend somebody a hand unless, what's in it for them. A real empath would take off the shirt for someone who, if Lord forbid, but a narcissist wouldn't, they'd probably spit at you while you're on the ground, to be, not to be graphic, but I'm just saying, like, they really don't care about you or anyone in general. You're all just a bunch of disposables, myself included, with these narcissists. But it's our, duty. It's incumbent on us as empaths, as survivors, as thrivers and warriors, to avoid these people like the plague. You've got to vet people much more closely, as I often say. If you feel like, oh, they're always talking about themselves, I, me, it's always about what their day was, and how did I look in this, or they know they know the answer to that. They look just fine, but they're always wanting outsiders to validate them again. And it can be quite toxic how grandiose that they can be. Like, it's never about we. It's always just about me to the narcissist. Red flag number 4. Entitlement. Again, they're entitled to your attention, to your validation, to your love and empathy and financial resources perhaps, but they don't intend on reciprocating or giving some back. It's not even about money. It's about the principle. You thought you loved this person. Perhaps you did, under the false impression that they were normal. And for that, I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. But the point is, people reveal themselves in due time. And when you sense your spidey senses tingling, okay? In other words, listen to your gut instinct. It's really telling you something. Just don't give these people a thought. Just walk away from their entitlement, their exploitation from you. Entitlement and exploitation. Red flag number 4, right? They wanted to exploit you, and they wanted to have a sense of entitlement to whatever you had, whether it was your savings or your whatever you had, assets, you know, kids, whatever, the works. Comment down in the comments section, you know, what did you experience? I'd like to hear it. Okay? And red flag number 5, the last but not least, it's going to be about a fragile self-esteem. They have a fragile, teeny-weeny little ego. So when someone doesn't give the attention and the validation, maybe the empath wakes up for once and they say, hey, you know, I'm not going to keep giving onto a fault. And I'm not just as disposable. And, you know, the narcissist hates people who call them out. Or not even call out. You know, you don't talk down onto the narcissist or anyone in general. You don't talk at them like they're a criminal. But you did try in more ways than one to communicate with them and get both sides out, but it's always about them. Them. And once you throw them the inconvenient truth or truths, shall we say, they get really mad about it. They get flustered. They even, you know, it's like a piece of their black heart has been shattered for a little moment. You know, a tiny little fracture in that already beaten up thing. But yeah, they hate the truth. They hate the truth. They love to live their lives in a fantasy land wherein they could just monkey branch from one source to another source, and the cycle always continues on. But it must not continue with you. And before I close out the channel, I'd just like to conclude with this. You know, as I said before, listen to your gut. Know the signs. If something's too good to be true, it usually almost always is. Always is. But guys, with that said, I'm just going to close out the video right there. I thank you all for tuning in and listening. This is Mike signing out. Please like, comment, subscribe. Take care, and goodbye.